Hello there. All right, so we're looking at where we're going to store our NVGs when they are not in use. All right, so and I'd asked a couple of y'all, say, hey, where do you guys end up carrying it? Now, two options were on body, so either the plate carrier or the belt. The next one's in your pack or ruck, which most of you guys say that's where y'all carry it. And then other, and I'll definitely kind of break down some of those reasons why you might not want to carry it in either of those ones positions, mounted being one of the primary ones that I've seen. So we'll go ahead and we'll break all these right here like down, so stick around. So breaking down like the on the body carry. So if you have them on your person at all times, so you're never going to end up like losing them. You're always going to have them as long as they are, carried well and protected. So you guys can see on my plate carrier, I do have a pouch that's back here. I can place them in. Me personally, I do like to carry them on my belt. Now, if you guys see, so this right here is just a small GP pouch, 3 motley columns wide. This one here is from Blue Forest Gear. The one on my plate carrier is from Tier Tactical. Most of those will fit your standard issue PVS 14. Now, if I am carrying it on my belt, of course, if I have to take my belt off because I am carrying like a ruck, something to consider, which is why I might need to move it up to my plate carrier. But if I'm carrying it in a pouch that's like this, understand that I need some sort of protection. So like I said, I've got my PVS 14, I've got the lanyard retention that's on it. And what I've actually done is, you guys have probably seen these right here before. So most of your S4 sections like still issue these. And this right here is actually kind of like chopped down. So this right here is supposed to actually fit inside your canteen pouch. So I'm not wearing a canteen pouch on any of my gear. And this right here, when it's all like still put together, it's a little bulky. So what I ended up like doing was I cut off the back, I cut off the bottom. Inside the pouch, I actually cut out the hard plastic piece there for the protection. I did kind of like round it off a little bit. Still need to place a hole in there for that drainage. But then with this right here, I was able to form it a little bit better to actually fit inside. So this right here is going to give me plenty of protection while it's in that pouch. Now I said, if you have a PVS 31s, you're probably going to need like maybe a larger pouch. I think Spiritus Systems, they did a good video on different pouches that fit it, especially with their insert. Just understand that, so whether it be my belt or my plate carrier, if I always have it on me, I'm never going to lose it, all right? So if I'm doing some sort of like defensive position, if I'm assaulting, if I'm in a vehicle, what have you, if it's on my person, I go to get out of that vehicle, I've always got it. All right, so next up, we're looking at some sort of like pack. Now this right here is just the Haley flat pack, and said it'll fit in this bottom part, no problem. I can also put it in some sort of like protective case and place it actually inside the main compartment. But understand that with something like this, this right here is what I'm using. This I'll actually stick this right here inside my ruck. So once my ruck has been set down, especially if I'm doing some like dismounted operations such as like CL for all the agile combat deployment stuff that we're doing, so I will set down my ruck. I will clip this right here to my plate carrier, and I'll rock and roll. So I'll have it there. So understand that if you are going to be placing it inside your ruck, if I am dropping my ruck at the ORP and now I'm going to press onto an objective, I have seen quite a few times where, hey, say it's like, 15, 16, like 100 hours, it will be getting dark, like when we're either on objective or after we've already, kind of like gone through and actually assaulted and secured that area, then people are like, hey, where are your NVGs? Oh shit, dude left them in his ruck. So if you have some sort of small assault pack, and you're placing it inside your ruck, place your NVGs inside there. So when you do drop your ruck, you don't forget it, and they will be inside here. Once again, if they're on your plate carrier belt, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But if you are gonna store them in your pack, just make sure that you don't forget it. So as far as other considerations go, so when I was in Iraq the first time in Afghanistan, I was a driver. So if I am mounted all the time, it's like, you'll see that there's a couple of photos where I did have a larger pouch. They want to say it was from either Tactical Tailor or Diamondback Tactical or Paraclete, or I said very, very old. So I was carrying that on my plate carrier if we were going somewhere like just in like the city. If we were going a little bit further out, if we were driving from Kabul up to Bagram, then I would definitely go ahead and place that inside my pack, because if something happened, I'd have to grab that pack and go ahead and get out of that vehicle. Iraq, same thing. So if you guys have ever been inside a Humvee where the radios are off to the side, there's a little cubby hole. I would actually stick my NVGs in there. Now I said, as we start getting onto some of the vehicles, they now have that little fold down like TV. So that thermal imager, super helpful, all right. I'm used to not having that, so I'd always have those things right there with me. For my guys who are gunners, so just about every good gunner has their gunner's nest where it is set up with all of like their stuff. I've seen a lot of guys that they'll run 550 cord back and forth, and then they'll just have like pouches that are attached on. So they'll place their NVGs, thermals, binos, like what have you, like, up there, like with them at all times. So just understand that, there are different ways that if I am mounted that I can go ahead and place it. Just understand that if you get out of the vehicle, don't forget them. Going into looking at, like a two-man defensive fighting position. Same thing, all right, said as long as it is like somewhat covered, right? So you're digging in through like the dirt, you now start taking like, stuff like your NVGs, thermals, binos, what have you. You're just setting them there like on top of the dirt. They're going to get dirty because you're placing them once again in the dirt. So keep them in some sort of like pouch, like cover them up with something. Just understand that. So that if I know I'm going to be fixed in this defensive fighting position, I can go ahead and I can just like, place those down somewhere. As it starts getting like, dark or about like an hour out, go ahead and grab them up, clip them on. So I said, hope this right here like, helped. So just really, if you guys have a SOP, go ahead and follow that SOP. If you don't have an SOP, make one, right? It's very helpful. As long as you have those things on your person, you can actually use them. Because if it is nighttime, you're like, oh, I left my NVGs in the vehicle. I left them in my pack, something like that. You're going to be shit out of luck, all right? So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Later.